Hello and welcome back, guys. So in today's topic, we are going to talk about variables and data types in JavaScript. Variable is a name given to a memory location to store some values. There are three different ways in JavaScript to declare variables using var, let, and const. Let and var are mutable, where const is immutable, meaning that the values or the variables defined using let and var, those variables values are changeable, or you can change them throughout the program at any time or at runtime, where those variables defined using const, and after you initialize for the first time, you are not able to change those values at runtime at any given time. So that's an invalid attempt if you are going to make. The difference between var and let is that var is function scoped, where let is block scoped, meaning that variable defined in a function, they are scoped throughout the function and its inner blocks, where the let is only scoped for the block where it's declared or initialized. And there is something else which is important to mention, is that you cannot redeclare variables that are defined using let. So if you have a variable with the let keyword, you're not able to redeclare it again. That's impossible. On the other hand, you can redeclare variables of type var anytime you want, on the same level, or on the same scope level, or it doesn't matter. You can do it, but that's impossible with the let. Let's just start. If I have a variable, to define and declare a variable, we start with the variable keyword, either var, let, or const. Then we add the variable name, let's say player name, and then we can initialize it with the assignment operator, which is equals. And here I can say John. This means that I defined a variable, declared a variable, and I assigned a value to it of type string into the variable. And we could also say var. We could also declare the variable in a different method. Means we can say var team, and then team equal to team A. In this way, we declare the variable and then initialize it. That's also possible. And then we have a let. Let's say let the score equal to 100, and we have const variable, let's say max score equal to 450. So we have talked about the difference between variable of type var and let and const. Let's say I want to change the player name from John to Michael. Since it's mutable, it's possible. So I can change the player name from John to Michael without redeclaring it. I'm just changing the value of the same variable. It's also possible with the score as well. So I would say score is 98. Let's say I want to print. So in JavaScript, if you want to print something to the console here, we use console.log and we pass our value to be printed. Let's say I'm going to say print player name and run it. So player name is now Michael because we have changed it here. But we can never, or it's impossible to change the variables of type const. Let's say I'm trying to say max score equal to 500. This is impossible. JSFiddle tells me that it's constant, you cannot do it, you cannot override it. And if I want to run it, the JavaScript engine also tries to tell me that you cannot assign to a constant variable. So this is an successful attempt and it's not a valid attempt, so we are not going to do it. The other thing that we are going to discuss is the function scope and block scope for the let and var. For this to demonstrate, I'm going to use function. So don't worry, we have a dedicated function session in the future lessons. And this lesson just tries to focus on the variables that we are using inside function. We are using function as a demonstration tool here. So let's say I have a variable called var x equals to 100, and this means that it's inside the function block or scope. Then the other thing I said that you can redeclare var means that I can directly here say var x equal to 200. This is also possible with var. And now if I have another inner block inside this function, then I could say var x equal to 300, meaning that now I'm redeclaring the variable x to 300. However, let me remove it from here. We have the x, let's just comment it, sorry. I have x here with value of 100, and now I'm changing that to 300, but using a redeclaration, because the var is not block scoped, rather it's a function scoped, means that the value of x from here will shadow the function level variable of x. So let me try to console log it here. Then here I should see 300. Let's call the function fun1 to run this function, and here I get 300. Now if I try to do this with the let, I change the function to fun2 and I change var to let. So first of all, I'm not able to redeclare let with the same variable. You see there is a problem. X has already been declared. I cannot do it again. This is the first difference. And the other one is that the let keyword variables are block scoped. They don't refer to the function scope, meaning that it's a complete new variable here. It's completely different from here. If I print here the value of x, it will be 100. It's never 300 in this scope outside this block. So the value is 100. Let's try to run the application and see if that's true. So we get 100. And now if I want to console log here x, the first console log, let me add something so that inner block for let variable. So this one should be 300, but the outer one should be still 100. We have 300 for the inner block. It never changed the outer variable. However, it could do in case of var variable type. So this is the difference. Let's talk about data types in JavaScript. At this point, we have learned how to declare variables and what are the types of variables and how they are different from each other. And now let's talk about the values that those variables holds. Like here, the value of x, or here, the value of player name. So all of them are variables, but the values they are holding are different. Like here it's a string. Same here, but here it's a number. In this case, we have some different data types in JavaScript. Let's just start with defining them and talking about them. Let's say if I have let age equal to 32, then the type of this variable is number. Or if we have let is adult equal to true, then it's a Boolean type in JavaScript. Or if I have let name equal to single quote or double quote, doesn't matter, Adam, then it's a string type in JavaScript. If I have let person equal to curly braces open and closed, then this is object type. And how the object can be represented, let me add some properties into it. Let's say first name, a person has a first name and it's Adam, age, it's 32. So this way we are declaring and initializing an object data type. So the variable person holding an object. And that object has different types and variable types inside. Then we have let not assigned, let's call it not assigned, into undefined. This is when a variable is declared but the value is not defined. So we have an undefined type as well. Undefined. A very nice handy tool or an operator that JavaScript offers is typeof. And with the help of that one, you can actually determine the type of a variable. Type of a variable or a value inside a variable using an operator, and that is typeof. So we can say console.log type of age. If I run this one now, type of age is number. Or if I copy this one and is adult, let me paste for name, for person, and for not assigned, if I have spelled correctly. Now if I run this, it should give us all the types. Number for age, Boolean for is adult, string for name, and object for the person, and undefined for not assigned. Let's say I have a let car model. I declared a variable, but I never assigned it. In this case, the type of this variable is going to be not assigned. Let's check this. Console.log type of car model. So this is a very handy tool, and this is very important when you try to check the types of the variables or types of values inside the variables at runtime. And this is very important and this is very useful. So let me check this one. We have undefined for car model. So this is how we determine the type of variables in JavaScript. That's it for today's episode. If you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Feel free to drop your question in the comment section below. Till our next session, happy coding.